Welcome to Wisdom Unveiled. Today, we're diving deep into the mind of the great philosopher Al-Farabi to explore his incredible vision for a city of wisdom. Now, just a quick heads up before we jump in, this explainer comes from Translated Conversations. It's a complex process, so we really appreciate you bearing with us if some of the finer details get a little lost in translation. So, if you were with us last time, you'll remember we talked all about Farabi's bridge of imagination. That amazing idea that our imagination connects the physical world we see and touch with the higher world of pure ideas. But that begs a huge question, right? What happens when you take that internal philosophical bridge and stretch it outwards into a real, living, breathing human society? How do these deep ideas actually shape a city? Okay, let's get into it. All right, let's kick things off with section 1. We're going to see how Farabi, who is deeply, deeply concerned with culture and society, creates this perfect link between his philosophy of the mind and his vision for the ideal city. You know, Farabi's genius was that he could travel this complete circle of thought. He could start with the concrete, sensory world, what we might call physics, and ascend all the way up to abstract, metaphysical principles. But, and this is the crucial part, he didn't just stay up there. He came all the way back down to apply those big ideas to real social and political life. Now for section 2. Let's dig into the cosmic blueprint that Farabi believed all of reality, and that includes human society, has to follow. This is where it gets really interesting. He saw all of existence as this grand two-way street. Everything starts from God, who is the first cause, the agent that gets everything going, and eventually everything returns to God, who is the final goal, the ultimate purpose of it all. Now, to make this crystal clear, the source material gives us this brilliant analogy. Think about a farmer who wants a pear tree. The final goal, the actual pear, exists as an idea in the farmer's head from the very beginning. That idea is the purpose that guides every single action, from planting the seed to watering the soil. But the actual fruit, that only shows up at the very end of the whole process. So in a way, the purpose comes before the action. So, the big question is, how does a cosmic model like that apply to building a city? Well, in section 3, we get Farabi's absolutely stunning answer. Farabi says that just like the universe is built on a foundation of divine wisdom, what's called Hikmat, a government has to be too. A state without that wisdom at its core is, well, it's fundamentally broken. It's totally out of sync with the way reality actually works. And this leads to his amazing definition of justice. See, for Farabi, justice isn't just about simple equality for everyone. It's about right order. It's about putting each thing and each person in its proper, rightful place within the whole system. It's a really challenging idea. But, this raises a huge problem, doesn't it? Who on earth has the wisdom to know the proper place for everything and everyone in a whole society? Who can see that grand cosmic design clearly enough to actually pull it off? For Farabi, the answer was totally clear. Only the Hakim, the wise sage, the philosopher ruler. Only someone who truly gets that cosmic blueprint can be the architect of a just and virtuous city. So in section 4, let's explore some of the practical challenges of this vision, specifically this clash between what has true value and what we just perceive as valuable. The modern world, we often get trapped by just looking at quantity, at the numbers. Farabi warns us about this. Think about it. A kilogram of straw and a kilogram of gold weigh exactly the same. They are equal in quantity, but their intrinsic value, their quality, is completely, totally different. And then, Farabi applies this exact same logic to people. He points to this verse from the Quran and argues that, while all humans have equal rights, the wise and the ignorant are not equal when it comes to their spiritual or intellectual value. A truly just society, in his mind, has to recognize these critical differences in quality. So where does all this leave us? Well, in our final section, section 5, we find out that the entire foundation of this ideal city rests on something maybe a little unexpected, the inner character of an individual. Ultimately, Farabi's entire city of wisdom doesn't rest on power or laws or military might. Nope, it rests on the deep personal sincerity of its leader, a quality called sidq. It's all about a leader who is, first and foremost, completely true to themselves and their search for truth. And what's the greatest test of that sincerity? It's the ability to say 3 simple but unbelievably hard words. I was wrong. A real thinker, a sincere leader, doesn't see being corrected as a failure. They welcome it because they know it gets them one step closer to the truth.
So you see the whole chain reaction here, right? To get a just city, you need ethics. To get ethics, you need reason. And to get true reason, you absolutely need sincerity. It all comes back to that one foundational personal quality. And that leaves us with one last thing to chew on. If Farabi is right, if the health of an entire society really does begin with intellectual honesty, what's the biggest thing stopping us from being truly sincere in our world today?